Fabulous. Hello, everyone. I'm Adryenn Ashley. Has this ever happened to you? You're out of town on business, working hard and all alone. You could channel surf all night, but all you really want to do is this. Introducing Loly, your personal AI app-based matchmaker, because dating in today's society absolutely sucks. So there are a ton of dating apps out there. Trust me, I'm on every single one of them. Competitive analysis and trying to find a date. And guess what? They all fail. Why do they fail? Because they are plagued by ghosts, bots, scammers, and predators. I swear to God, there are people that are just not there. They're either not real people, or they downloaded the app, and then they deleted the app. The apps make it almost impossible to delete your profile. So you're out there being presented as if you're available, and you're really not. So Tinder, the mainstream unicorn. This is the one that everybody goes to. Everybody knows. They also go to Bumble. I'm trying not to say anything bad about Bumble right now because they want to buy me. But Tinder, mainstream unicorn. They swiped through 1.6 billion Tinder profiles and they made 26 million matches, and 6 billion matches have been made since they launched. But you know what? Only 1% of those matches ever actually end up in a real life meeting. And it takes so long going back and forth and back and forth. And if you're on multiple apps like me, you get confused and then you lose track of where was that message and who was that again and what was their profile. Now, Adult Friend Finder. That is the most honest website on the entire planet. You know exactly what they're looking for because they're super honest. However, as a woman, it's very difficult when you log in and you're bombarded by a wall of pictures. That's not how we choose. I am definitely looking for personality and smarts, and I'm sapiosexual, so I don't care if you look like Brad Pitt and Thelma and Louise. If you're not smart, it's not going anywhere. But the biggie number right there, Naughty is profitable, $21.44 per month per subscriber, and they have 65 million paying subscribers. Cha-ching! So, while women want long-term love, if you can factor in a little, occasionally at 2 o'clock in the morning in a Las Vegas hotel room when you're awake and alone, option, it actually will make you way more money. So what women need to say yes, and I am talking about yes to not just hitting the sheets, but yes to dinner, is safety, security, and certainty. Because at this point, once a woman hits about 30, we've had enough bad dates that getting us to move into the shower, shave our legs, and out the front door when Netflix has dropped a new series is a really high bar. So we need to know it's actually going to be more fun than that. And this is why we created Loly. Because we don't have enough information. I'm sorry, 200 characters is not enough to tell me whether you have a personality, let alone a brain. So how did we do this? We use digital ID, reputation, and staking. Why do we do digital ID? Because 30% of the guys who ask me out are married. And then you also have all those bots and scammers and predators. And I would really like to make sure that you don't have a felony arrest. You know, I mean, maybe for insider trading, I might, maybe skate on that one. But, you know, I mean, it's really difficult. And reputation. A recent poll said that men's worst fear going out with a woman on a blind date is that she's going to be fatter than her picture. And a woman's worst fear is that she's going to be murdered. So how do you make sure that you can balance the expectations of both parties? Because none of the dating apps do that right now. And as a matter of fact, all of our competitors and everybody who tries to copy me, they're all dudes. And I look at their solution and I go, yeah, you missed the whole point. They just don't get it. Being a woman dating is a very dangerous sport. So we have to make sure that we fix that. So the reputation, you can build your reputation, prove who you are, have a background check, verify that you're an actual real live human being with a heartbeat, and you know, maybe a residence and a car. That would be great too. But then the staking piece of it, this is where it gets great. And we are the only ones who do this. So I have a friend, I don't know how many of you watch Suits, but the Jewish guy in Suits, I have a friend who's a little shorter, a little pudgier, and a little less good looking. But all of his ex-girlfriends say he's phenomenal in bed, and he's super sweet, and he's really smart, and he's successful, and he has a great job, and he wants to be a dad, and he'd be like the perfect marriage material, but he can't get a date because he's an introvert. So this staking mechanism will allow his friends and people that know him to stake different attributes of his personality. So if that's important to you, you can be like, oh, interesting. And then we also work with women to get them to understand that studies show women are happier with men who are less attractive than them. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's just because we want to feel like we're the prettiest girl in the room, but it is. So our digital ID, real humans verified with reputation and staking. So we not only look at your driver's license, use facial recognition to make sure you are that person, but then other things like you're like, I'm separated. I'm like, great, send me the bill from your lawyer. Are you really separated? Where's that court document? Oh, you haven't filed with the court yet. Okay, then where's the lawyer bill? Like, prove it. Nobody proves it. I had this, so my birthday was a couple weeks ago. And this guy was coming up and he's like, oh no, I'm separated. You should get laid on your birthday. And I'm just looking at him like, yeah, no. And turns out, found out 2 days later, nope, married, not separated. So dudes are just, dating sucks. We're fixing all that. So we identify suitable matches using our patent pending heat index. The reason this is important is that most women are looking for long-term love. You set that to an 8.5 and above, you're only going to be matched with people that are suitable for long-term relationships. However, at 2 o'clock in the morning in a Las Vegas hotel room when your roommate is out on a Tinder date, clearly getting laid and you'd like to, and there's 15,000 people in the hotel and you're thinking somebody has to be awake and compatible, you can lower that heat index down to a 5 and that will give you whoever is awake and compatible and nearby. So when you want to connect, back and forth messaging it's crazy. It sucks. And then how many times do you message back and forth? A couple of weeks, you finally meet, and you meet them for coffee or you meet them for dinner, and the chemistry check is a fizzle. Forget it. Quick video chat. I can tell you within usually 2-3 minutes whether I am interested in seeing that person or not. So this saves time. It reduces all that back and forth. You're either going to have a great conversation or you're not, but you're also going to make sure that's a real human being and not a catfish. So if the chemistry works and you decide to take it a little further, we use the blockchain to verify sexual consent because the Me Too epidemic had a ton of viral people everywhere. Everybody was talking about it in the media, and there was not a single solution presented other than men stop being dicks. That's not a good solution. So instead, what we've done is we put sexual consent on the blockchain. And in 11 states, did you know? If you let him start, he gets to finish, and that's not rape, even if you're screaming. So we have an ethical contract that is part of our consent application where you open a consent window, have your fun, and then you close the consent window. So you are pre and post authorizing, yes, this was mutual, and yes, it was fun. And hey, AI, thanks, you did a great job. That was a good match. I had a good time. So you rate at the end, but it's not public. It's just so that we know what you like, what we could do better next time. And so the piece of this, if there's ever a disputed consent, if there's ever an issue, not only does our technology take that and siphon that off to a private blockchain, the master nodes in our decentralized private blockchain are actually run by lawyers in all 50 states, and lawyers are officers of the court. Chain of custody is preserved. So every bit of evidence is preserved for the court record, and it can only be accessed by law enforcement or a court order. So the other thing, how many times have you been too drunk? I think, women get drunk because they really want to say yes, but, their sober self says, no, I really shouldn't. But their drunk self says, yeah, you really should. It's been a while. So me too. You see why nobody ever wants to go after me.
I do.
Okay. So we have a quickie little consent piece just to make sure that you are. And then if we haven't heard back from you, we're going to check in, make sure everything's okay. We're going to have you check out and make sure that everything is good. We're going to log the consent, and then we're going to ask you how everything was. Would you like to see this person again? And the reason is because we want an immutable record that this was a mutual consent. Now, the great thing is we can spin off this consent piece easily so that people date at work, even though the HR says you're not supposed to, or if you're going to date at work, you have to file a form. But what happens if you're like, well, I kind of like you, but I'm not ready to fill out the form with HR because I just want to go to lunch and see if I like you. You can use the consent app for a non-sexual lunch or to start dating ahead of time until you get to the point where you have to fill out the HR form. We have state-of-the-art privacy. You own your data. This is the hugest piece. I don't have your sexual preference data. It's in your phone encrypted. I don't have it. TMZ is not going to have it. Your consent is not going to end up on the front of the National Enquirer. This is your data. And the market size for this is huge. And how the heck did that get? Okay. So that slide actually looked great this morning, but it's a $2.5 billion industry expected to grow to $12 billion by 2020. And the mobile apps are quickly taking market share away from the online. However, what's interesting is that mobile, PWA, which is a progressive web app, is actually starting to shift because the App Store doesn't like crypto. So
Tell us what orange is, though.
Online dating is 49, apps is 26, I think. I was surprised that matchmakers were 14%. So our profit potential is huge. And we're looking at over 20 million in 2020 and up to over 80 million in 2 years. And this is very simply derived because we sell lifetime subscriptions, and then we have in-app purchases, and our tokens are actually used to maintain the entire community. It's a utility token. So we use the token for reputation and staking, in-app purchases, and upgrades like voyeur mode. I have a lot of celebrities that are going to be on the platform, and they obviously can't what, I'm on the platform. So they want to be able to seek and see who they like before they reveal their identity. The tokens are also used for hosting a masternode, and you earn rewards for basically maintaining the network. Subscription purchases, gifts, you can send somebody a gift and you don't know their address. It just gets pipelined through and gets delivered to them. Also community rewards. We have a patent pending peer-to-peer grand jury process. So we don't decide, unlike Yelp, who decides everything, and wrongly most of the time, we don't decide anything. A jury of your peers decides everything. Also, our bounty program is like an affiliate program for referrals into the system, and much, much more. So our development roadmap so far, we have secured our IP. We did an alpha launch in 2018, and we had 50,000 people sign up in New York in 3 days. It was overwhelming, and they sucked. And I was like, oh, let's take that down, because the onboarding process was really bad. I have a diehard no assholes policy, and I definitely did not have that factored into the user onboarding process. So now we do. We tested the Consent app at South by Southwest earlier this year, unfortunately, during Mercury in retrograde. So 30% of the phones, it didn't work, which was...
Believe me, it sucked. I was like in tears because I didn't know Mercury was in retrograde until somebody told me, and then I went,
I don't take this personally anymore.
There's 1 minute left.
Okay. Oh, 1 minute. Oh my God. Okay. So 2020, we're going to release that. We have the free Consent app coming out first. Then we are launching major media. I have all of the major media shows already locked in. The FTC has already started filing lawsuits. India just said if a man has sex with a woman and doesn't marry her, it's rape.
and I have a client in India who's the largest newspaper group. We have
40 million readers, and these SCARS is 25 million people. Jozu has 750,000 single female travelers. Bermuda, we are piloting in the country, and I was just having dinner with the premier of Bermuda, and we're going to pilot it in their country. The National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers is having a cow because the ABA is changing the rules for rape and sexual harassment to guilty until proven innocent, and the Supreme Court already said, okay. IBM is giving us $100,000 worth of technology grants, and the International Association of Professional Matchmakers are one of our first group of affiliates. So they're going to refer all of their clients to us. We have an entire ecosystem. It's more than just dating. It's dating, and then weddings, and then parenting, and then retirement. So the lifetime subscriptions cover all of those things. We're by women, for women, about women, to get women laid. And we're raising $2.5 million for a 25% stake. Thank you.